Happy New Year! Your New Year's resolution is I want to start doing live sets. Okay, where to start, what to buy, how to go about it. This is how you will find your synth of choice. That's today's video. Are you ready for it? Let's go and do that right now. Hey, hello, welcome, I'm Analog Kitchen and thank you for checking out yet another video. Now if this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe and hit that notification bell. Whenever I upload a new video, you'll be kept in the loop and you'll not miss out on anything. Stick around till the end of this video. I will tell you how to get in touch with our ever-growing community, and which you can find on patreon.com/analogkitchen. On topic, so if you hear me talk about this live set business, I always refer to band members, as I'd like to approach it from a sort of like classical approach. I'd like to look at my live set as a band, as an electronic orchestra, where it's easy for me to just like organize and pinpoint which band members need to play what part, but what to choose and how to choose it. Well, the reason that I know how to choose my synths, or even if I slim it down to a more condensed sort of setup, I'd like to think of this one word, and this one word is contrast. Contrast is everything. Why? Because you like to have a cadence between some sort of opposite sounding sounds. So in my case, I've got a digital sound source, I've got an analog sound source. They both do different things. Neither one is better than the other. It doesn't really get to that point, but it is more like, if I do something over here, can I counter it to something over there? And there's also something like call and response. So that's even something that comes into play when you think about different sound sources. Now I've done it in that way. And I will play you a thing that I've done, and I will play you a sort of like a jam. I will do that in a second and show you on how I set up the whole live set and how I will choose the different sounds and why they work. Because in my case, I'm talking about, I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. I'm talking about, in my case, the Minitaur that takes care of bass and certain bass leads. And I'm talking about the Microfreak that can do completely different things. Now, the Microfreak is a synthesizer that will make otherworldly sounds. That is cool if you need it to be that out there. Not always, but you'd like to just, you know, venture out of the realm, so to speak. I used to have a live set purely based on only Moog type synths. And they will get you to a certain place, and it's really cool and cool sounding and convincing, and it rattles the room. Everybody knows if you play a bass note of a Sub 37 or a Minitaur, you'll know that you will shake the room. The room will shake. It's like an earthquake, which is really a pleasant way to play your dance music. But if you need it to be a little bit more modern sounding, not saying that it's old-fashioned, but it's a sound that's, we know that kind of sound. Yeah, so to give you a few examples of analog synthesizers, what to think of Sweet Dreams Are Made of These by the Eurythmics, or Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode, or Gary Newman's stuff, you know. There's so many different bands that had synthesizers. Even the Final Countdown, that's an analog synth. It does that thing, and when I throw these titles out there, immediately something clicks with you, right? You understand what's going on. Now, if you need a synth to be a little bit of a hybrid, or do that analog thing and venture out into maybe wavetable stuff, or, you know, FM stuff, something that is really a little bit more mechanical sounding, which is today's sound, right? Listening to Charlie XCX, for instance, that is a blend between what we know and what is current and new and the sound of tomorrow. So yeah, how to go about it with a smaller budget. So looking at how I've set this up, let's look at what is on the desk right here. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of synths that I usually use, but the last weeks I have really toned it down, and I've been thinking of, can I simplify it a little bit more? So that's exactly what this is. So I've got the Octatrack here taking care of my drums and taking care of some really weird sounds. Now, I've got 7 different tracks engaged out of the 8, and the 8 is the master track here. Then there's 2 MIDIs that I use, so chopping the Octatrack in half. One part, the red one, the red trigs, track trigs are all the audio ones, and then the yellow ones are all the MIDI ones. I'm not using all the MIDI tracks, so there's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 MIDI channels. Those are here when I hit MIDI, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 audio tracks. In studio mode and master mode, the 8th track is just a master track, so I can't really stick any samples on the 8th track, and I don't need it. So here again, in terms of what I would like to do hierarchy wise, kick is on 1, and the kick, it's a beefy kick coming out of this channel right here, which is a stereo channel, but I'm only using the left input, so this is a mono kick, and it comes out of one of the Q outs. Now, if I'm looking at the kick, for instance, double click it here and say mix, trim. Usually when you do this in the DAW, you'll get these two audio files sitting on top of each other. It's one audio file with a stereo file, so with a left and a right. Now, it's cool to have that, but most kicks are mono anyway, if there's no reverb or whatever on there. So I'm only going to use one output and stick that in a mono fashion. So this goes to the top, right? So it's in the middle, the balance is in the middle, so that I've got a mono kick. Now, in terms of club sound systems, and that's the whole point of me talking about how certain synths work and the sound and the interpretation of it, the way I'm looking at it is most club sound systems are mono up until a certain frequency anyway, and that frequency goes up higher than you might think. Might even go up into the high mids, so around 200, 300 hertz. Everything up until that point, maybe even higher, is mono, or might be mono, because you get phase issues. It's better to compress and structure and EQ your bottom end sounds in a club mono. And if you are unlucky, the whole sound system in the club is mono. So that I've also encountered. So I will keep my kick also mono, and I'll make sure that the kick bangs. So this is what I got for a kick. And as you can hear, there is a rumble thing going on with that kick as well. So that, looking at the kick in edit mode, I will just hit record. You'll see all the different trigs that are happening for the kick. Usually, you'll only see kicks engaged on 1, 5, 9, and 13. And what I've done, instead of completely filling up all the trigs, I did not do that, and I left a little bit of space behind the first kick, because if I was to say copy trick, this trick, and place it here, listen to what's happening. Let's copy it here and here and here. Now you'll hear my kick is getting too short, and I don't want it to be too short. It needs to be a woo, not a tick. So this goes out, the 6 goes out, 10 goes out, and the 14 will go out, so it gives the kick a little bit of room. And the other kicks that I've got, I've copied the same kick and I've altered the volume of the other kicks. So the 1, the 5, the 9, and the 13, and you know, going on up until I got all my 64 steps done. In this case, they're all full velocity, and then the other ones are shorter or softer, and then it sounds like this. And on the last page, I've got da 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 da. So there, I will make a little drum roll. Dum, dum, rabba dabba dum. So now I've got a theme already that I think can work. When it comes to my synthesizers though, let's take out all the effects, because that's an intricate part as well. I've got that contrast thing happening, as I told you. Now, what is the contrast? The contrast here is that I've got the Minitaur playing an arpeggio, fairly slow. So I'll play that to you. 1, 2, 3. Some reverb on my master, so As you can hear, the Minitaur is rooted into the Octatrack, and then it comes out of the stereo. So I get a little bit of reverb here also. But what I've also done is I'm taking off, if you can hear, the cutoff on the kick drum. So the kick drum is losing low end, as you can hear. So then I got an impact by playing around with this crossfader here. Let's go back in and spice up this synth sound. Now, the two things you need to spice up any sound, in my honest opinion, is delay and reverb. So we're going to look at that, right? Let's first start with some delay. The BPM is 137. I've got a quarter note dotted delay on the DD500. So it goes the Minitaur into the digital delay, DD500, out of there. So it becomes stereo here. One mono going in the mono side, two coming out. So then a stereo comes out of there. And that stereo goes into the black sky, Strymon black sky, and that goes into the Octatrack, and then it gets fed out to the desk via the stereo. So let's open up the DD500 and see if we can create a little bit of magic here. Let's listen. Right? Cool. And the nice thing is that it gets a little bit of a saturation if I make it a little louder. So it's, and the devil's in the details here for people. Keep it fairly simple and slow moves. You can dance to this, right? Cool. A little bit more drums. Let's enter in a little bit of reverb here. Reverb on the bass. Might be hard to hear. Let's focus on the reverb first. There's a room. I can choose to go for different vibes. Let's try plate. Without it. You hear how it becomes a stereo vibe now if I open it up? Listen close. This is mono. Very mono. And if you really would like it to go dramatic, let's put some shimmer on there. We got a spring also. Let's listen to that. Normal mode, mod mode, shimmer. This is a setting if you would like to go really dramatic. Let's try this and add in a little bit of that delay again. Sweet, right? Cool. And then our kick again. Let's go for some more drums. Liking that. So I've got different things happening with my drums, as you can hear. Low end content, which is the kick. High end content, a little bit of a shuffle shaker head. My open head, which is really a closed head. This is a little bit saturated, and a ride cymbal, of course. And I've got another thing on track 6, track 7. So you have to understand, to make that work, you have to also think on how much do I want for my synth sound. I'd like to have my synth sound do something fairly simple, because this is the hypnotizing, sort of like honey, sweet sounding vibe right here, right? And I'd love to really focus on getting my drums to really do crazy stuff and not my synths all the time. With that, I've got this synth sitting right here. So DD500 into the Black Sky. This is the chain that I've got going on for the Minitaur, right? So taking everything off. And it sounds pretty sweet, because, and this is also a thing you need to train yourself in. When you listen to a sound like this, you go like, nah, probably not. But you have to really dress it up. So a Minitaur synthesizer, also it works with reverb here. This is the reverb on the Octatrack, which is the dark verb. I think that's the best reverb in the Octatrack. I'm not used the other ones because I don't really like them too much. They stand out a little bit too much for my personal taste, that is. Now, so I'd like to go for fancy schmancy reverb and delay. Now, in the middle there's a space echo that's connected to the Microfreak. And we'll get to that in a second. But that is a delay and reverb pedal into one. I don't think it compares to those two, to be honest, but it does the trick in terms of the sound that I'm making. So sometimes you might choose a certain taste or character over quality, I'd say. So back in, delay. Not too loud, you see, and then reverb. Turn this down so you can hear it. Right? Okay, and then blend the two together. I would love to go for first this sound. Let's shorten it. First, delay. Because the delay will make it a little bit more percussive. Listen to this. And the reverb lengthens the notes. And what you don't want, if you want your delay to be very percussive, to have these longer notes here, the more you use it, and if you use pre-delay, you can alter it a little bit, because then the reverb would start a little bit later. You'll hear the initial attack transient. Pre-delay essentially is also delay, right? But it's very, very short. So I'll like to stick that up a little bit, pre-delay, so that the reverb starts a little bit after the initial attack transients of the sound. And don't open it up too wide, and then I'll just go in and blend the two together. Nice. Okay, self-explanatory, right? Then let's go in and play the drums. Kick drum, hat, loop, and the other loop on 7, and the right cymbal on 5. Yeah, okay. Not top of my mind. And longer notes. Right? Here we go. Let's focus on what we got on this side. Now this is the contrast. I'd love to go in and take this melodic thing out of there and play this. Cool stuff. So this is a sound that I've created on the Microfreak. Let's listen to this. And I love it. So let's take out low on the kick and focus on this sound a little bit. Short notes. Right? Now the few things that I love about the Microfreak, the way I'm looking at it now, so completely different thing happening with the filters as there is with the Minitaur. So this thing can do different things within the same sound. Let's leave the low end out of the kick, and let's focus a little bit on what this sound is. Now, we've got filter amount right here. Nice, right? Your classic analog frog sound. This is how you can get drum sounds to go. I'm liking that. Right? A little bit of resonance here. Now obviously I can just map this away to have the synthesizer do it, but like to do it myself. Okay, listening to the reverb here. Focus on getting a delay going. This is the reverb, right? Woo, nice. Let's take it out. Again, shorter notes. And let's listen to the delay. Now, much like this fancy schmancy delay here that says 137, I don't know what a quarter note triplet is on this thing, because there's no dial to make sure that you can add some tempo. So you have to tap tempo. So this is the engage and turn it off, the shut up button, and this is the tap tempo button. So I'm thinking, what's a triplet? A triplet is pam 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 pam. So let's do that. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if I'm right. Woo, nice. Kick drum. Make it a little double here. See, a lot is happening and still nothing's happening. I've just got these two sounds happening. So you can understand how I've got one melodic thing to just really get you sucked into the speaker, and then with this I can really do that groovy thing. But knowing where the sweet spots are on your machines is very important. So, and this also is the same thing. Reverb here. I love this reverb, but you shouldn't overdo it. This is too much, because they already, Boss or Roland, same company by the way, Roland and Boss is the same thing, they already made sure that the pre-delay is engaged. So listen to this. Let's make it even shorter. Nice. You hear the reverb coming? Once I open it up more, you hear how it's going to slap. So the initial sound is hitting the reverb sound is hitting the original sound later. Tra 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 ta 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 tra tra, which is cool and it can be used as an effect. But you know, I'd like to keep my sound punchy. And the more I've got different transients happening on different timings away from my initial groove, where a lot is happening already, it gets muddy. And then it's hard to pinpoint what you would like to dance to. So I'd like to really keep it nice and simple. A little bit of atmosphere to not have this sound be naked. Play around with delay. And the intensity knob, that's the one. And I like to set it to a point where it's still dying out, but very slowly. So this is what I mean with a sweet spot. You know, if you open it up too much, it's going to never stop. As a matter of fact, it's going to accumulate and be louder and start to really like scream at you and screw up your speakers. So you need to really watch out. But it can do that reggae dub kind of vibe, which is cool for this type of music, right? So bringing it all together, let's do a little bit of a jam. Turn it off. Long release here, so it dies off, so you can make a transition there. And there's a lot of things happening in the drums, but the drums are not that sparse that I can't leave them running by themselves. Is that nothing that I can play live? Yes. On my track 6, there is a clap gauge that I'm not using right now, but I will use. So I'll go to my slots and look for the last one. Let's turn this off. Track 7, that's in the way. Nice. Okay, let's record it in. Bam, 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 bam. No, not liking it. Let's do it again. So, holding record. Let's go start the recording. Let's record that. Clap in 2, 3, and bam, 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 bam. Nice, there it is. And the fun part also that I've not showed you, but there's something that is also cool to record automation in. So it's still recording. Let's go to the EQ. So if I'm turning record off, listen to this. I've got my EQ on a fairly pointy shape. Nice, right? Let's record that. Go in. Cool. So you can see all the green notes. That's automation. So you can see that I've recorded the automation inbound. And as you can hear, I've done the same rhythmical thing as what the keys over here are playing. So going out of here, let's make a drop. and see if we can add this organ sound into this clap. Oh, that's nice. Shorter notes. Did you say right cymbal? No problem. Here we go. Well, you catch my idea on how I would choose my synths in order for them to do certain things. Of course, I've touched up on a few different other things, other elements that I think are important, but this is the way you should look at it really. You should really think like, okay, what do I need from the synthesizers? How do I want to go about it? In what sense would I like to project what it is? Now, you have to make the best of your synths. If not, you'll end up buying a lot of synths and you will not use them to the fullest. And for some reason you'll hear it. I used to have a lot of stuff on the table. Now, I know the Minitaur, I can say that I know it about 90%, and it's still early days with the Microfreak, but it's not a very hard synthesizer to grasp once you understand what it is you hear in your head to transfer it here. That's also a way of thinking about it. Instead of thinking, okay, I need to really go in and look what the synth is doing and alter it. It's cool to listen to the presets, but from the minute you can do some sound design, I'll do videos on that. It's better, just make your own sounds. Now, if you made it this far into the video, you, sir, or ma'am, are an absolute superstar. My name is Analog Kitchen. This is what I do. Don't hesitate to click like and subscribe. And if you'd like to get a little bit more in touch with what we're doing, I'm saying we because there is a community that you can find on Discord, but you can get to it via patreon.com/analogkitchen. That's the way to get into it. There's a little bit of a paywall, but you won't be breaking the bank. And it's cool. So there's a lot of things that we do. We are a community and we talk about this stuff because I can imagine that this video is only just like touching the surface. You'd like to get more deep into it. I will do live streams and I will do it fairly soon even. There's going to be some live streams. I would like to aim for doing one once a month and then see how we can metabolize this whole thing, you know? So if you got more questions and answers, that would be a one-stop shop to really get closer, and also on this patreon.com/analogkitchen. Now, I can go on forever. I'd like to as well, but I'm going to turn the camera off and have some fun. Next week there's going to be another video. Thank you for watching. Keep watching this space. I'm Analog Kitchen and I'm out.